Hello everyone, I'm back today with the last session of our 10-day C programming course. Please do watch the previous videos if you haven't. Hope all the concepts discussed yesterday was clear. Now let's see about multidimensional arrays in C. Imagine a situation where you have to store the height of, not the height, imagine a situation where you have to store the roll number as well as the marks scored by the students. So for doing it for one student, what you can do is you can create an array, and if you have to store 5 marks, you will create an array of size 6, because in the 0th position you will be storing the roll number of the student, and the remaining 5 positions you will be using it for storing the marks scored by the student in different exams. So what do you do if you have to do the same for many students? One available option is, that is, you can create many arrays of the size 6 for each student. Another option is you can go for multi-dimensional arrays. So the arrays which we normally saw is a single dimensional array. Multi-dimensional arrays are arrays whose dimensions can be more than 2. So here is an example, that is, if a multi-dimensional array is given, will be having rows and columns. So here it is given int x 3, 3, not 3, 4. In first square bracket there is 3, in the second square bracket there is 4. So 3 denotes the number of rows, whereas 4 denotes the number of columns. So x is a multi-dimensional array with 3 rows and 4 columns, and it is capable for storing integer values. So how many values can it store in total? 3 into 4, 12. So it can store 12 integer values. Now see here, these are rows and these are columns. So there are 3 rows and 4 columns. So if you have to access the value in the in the first row, first column, then you have to give x of 0, 0. So since the indexing starts from 0, that is the reason that even though it is the first row and first column, we are giving 0, 0. So 0th row, 0th column. So 0th row, first column, 0th row, second column, 0th row, third column. In the same way here, first row, 0th column, first row, first column. It goes on and until second row, third column. This is the final position. So this is how you'll be accessing values of the multi-dimensional array. Now this is a 2-dimensional array, that is, it has only rows and columns. Now here there is something, this is 3-dimensional. It has something more than rows and columns, that is, it has rows, columns, and there's an this is given as rows and columns. So there will be 4 with that is, let us forget about the 4. How will an array look like if it has only 2 rows and 3 columns? Now take it, and you have, what you have to do is you have to make it 4. That is 4 of this kind of arrays and keep it one behind the other. How it will look like? It will almost look like a Rubik's cube. That is how it's going to be. That is, it is 3-dimensional. It is 3D form. Now here are the different array initialization. So here what they've done is that it shows that this C is an array. It is of integer data type. It has 2 rows and 3 columns. 2 rows and 3 columns. That is, in one row it can store 3 values. So this is how you initialize this is one method of initializing a 2-dimensional array. So see here, this is the first row and 3 columns. So this is 0, 0, 0, C0, 0, C01, C02. This is the next column. So C10, C11, C12. So if you have to access this value, you will have to give C square bracket 0 square bracket 0. So then you will get the value 1. Now the next way is without giving the row, but the column is mentioned. So here it's the same thing, but they have not mentioned the row. Column is mentioned, but the row is not mentioned. Now there's another way. Instead of putting it in brackets, they are given it continuously just by separating them by commas. This is also possible. You can use any of these 3 methods to initialize a 2-dimensional array. Now next is 3-dimensional array. So here it is 2 rows, 3 column, 2 rows, 3 columns. And here what they have done is you can see 2 3 are 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So they've enclosed different set of values in different opening braces and closing curly braces, and they have given 4 values in each of the set. So here you can see, here it is 4 values, here again 4 values, here again 4 values, and there are such and the count of them is, in total there are 6 of them, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So in total there are 6 of them. So this is how you initialize a 3-dimensional array. Now let us see a simple program to initialize a array, and then how to print the different values without loops. So here let us take an array of number of rows is 2 and number of columns is 2. So how do I initialize it? How do I declare it? Int, I'm giving the name of the array as A, number of rows is 2, number of column is 2. Okay, now I'm giving the values. 2 into 2 4. So this particular array can store 4 values. I'm giving 1 2 3 4. So okay, now let me printf modulo d comma a of 0 0. So the output should be 1, that is in the 0th row. Here how it's going to be like, it is going to be like a square, and if you divide a square into 4 parts, how is it going to look like? First you'll put a horizontal line in the middle, then you'll put a vertical line. So if you put that, you will get a square with 4 parts. So in the first box you will be having 1, in the next one 2, here you'll have 3, here you'll have 4. So 0, 0 means 0th row 0th column, so you'll get the first value. So 1 should be printed. Let's see the output. See, you're getting 1 as the output. Now let us see a simple program with the dimensions 2 by 2, and this will be a program to accept the numbers and store it in the array. So first what we have to do is we have to declare the array. So int a, the number of rows in the array is going to be 2, and the number of columns is also going to be 2. Now if I have to go through the number of rows, I will need a variable. For that I'm using I, and now to go through the number of columns, I'll use another variable j. So here next what you have to do is you have to accept the, you have to print you have to for I equal to 0, I less than 2, I plus plus. Now this loop is going to take you through the rows of the array. Now in the first row you will accept the first column value, second column value, and then you will go to the next row and you will accept the first column value, second column value. So here accepting the first column value and the second column value is something common. So again what you have to do is we are using the concept of nested loop, and inside this we will be using another loop, that is when I equal to 0, at that time the inner loop, that is for j equal to 0, j less than 2, j plus plus. Now j, what it does is it will go through the column values. So here I am using scanf modulo d comma ampersand a of I j. So what happens here is when I value is 0, it comes, I 0 less than 2, it is true. So it comes inside and it sees j equal to 0, j less than 2, 0 less than 2 is also true. So what it will happen? It will accept the first value, that is a 0 0. It will accept the value a 0 0 and it will store in a 0 0. After that j value gets incremented to 1. So 1 is also less than 2, it will accept a 0 1. So again it gets incremented to 2. 2 less than 2 is false. So what happens is it breaks out of the loop and then it comes back to the main loop. So here the value of I in the beginning was 0, it gets incremented by 1, so 1 less than 2 is true. So again it comes inside and it same happen. It accepts all the values in the column, and then after that the control will come here. And if you want, okay, let us try printing printf modulo d a of 1 comma 1. Okay, now let's see what is the output of this one. So if you give run, okay, I just made a mistake. You have to give input here. The constructor name run. Now let us see what the output. So here it is 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. You will get the output 4 here. That is 0th column, 0th row, 0th column value is 1. 0th column first row, I mean 0th row first column value is 2. First row 0th column value is 3, and first row first column value is 4. So the output is 4. Now let's try printing a 0. Run. We'll get 3 as the output because I'm printing first row 0th value. This is 0th row 0th column, 0th row first column, first row 0th column. So 3 is printed. So here we have seen how to accept values into a 2-dimensional array. Now let's try for 3-dimensional array. So here let me declare another 2. So again what we'll have to do is we'll have to include another, we'll also need another variable here, comma k. Now again for k equal to 0, k less than 2, k plus plus. Scanf modulo d, comma ampersand a of I j k. And let's print here 1. So now let's see what the output is going to be. Here it is 2 2. It's going to accept 8 values. 2 into 2 4, 4 into 2 8. So 5 6 7 8. Now let's try and see what will be the output. Here I'm missing a bracket. This bracket is, it belongs to this one. Start, if like when you're counting for bracket, start from the innermost. So this one's bracket will be this one. Now this one's bracket will definitely come after this one. So give it here. Now the last ones will be here. Okay. Now let's see the output of it. Okay, you've got some error. Scanf. Okay, here I've given modulo where I should be giving ampersand. Now let's see what the output is. We've got the output 6 1 0 1. Okay, so you got the output. So how this happens here is like I've given 1 0 1. So we've got the output here 6 for this is for 3-dimensional array. We won't be using 3-dimensional arrays. We'll only be using 2-dimensional arrays. So now let's see another program to print the product of two values in the multi-dimensional array. For that I won't be needing any of this. Okay, we'll need I comma j for I equal to 0, I less than 2, I plus plus. Now scanf for accepting the numbers. Okay, now let's print a of 1 comma 0 star a of 0 1. Now let's see what the output is going to be. We've given 1 0 0 1, so 0 call first row, 0th value is going to be 3, 0th row first value is going to be 2, so 2 into 3 you should get 6. See, the output is 6. So here you can see there's an array X, and the dimension, it is a 3-dimensional array, 2 by 2 by 2, and it can store only integer values, and the values are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now how do you know how much values a particular array can store? Just multiply these values. So 2 into 2 into 2, that is 4 into 2, 8 values can be stored in this one. So here what happens is, here 1 will be stored, next 2 3 4, and here 5 6 7 8. So how this is accessed is like, if I give x 0 0 1 0 1 1, so here it is the last one. Check the last one. So there are only two possible values, there is either 0 or 1. For the last one, this is 0, this table is 0, and this table is 1, so it is given 1. So we have to check the values here. Now it is given 0th row first column, 0th row first column 5, and this one 1. So this is how values will be checked in 3-dimensional arrays. That is, this is since I cannot represent it 3-dimensionally, I'm showing here as 2 different tables. What happens is, what mostly how it is like, this one, like how it should be is like, this table will be placed above this one, and it will be like two layers of same tables. That is how 3-dimensional arrays is represented usually. So just for your understanding, I have split it into 2 parts. So 0 means the first layer, 1 means the second layer. Now let us see for another array, int a of 3 3 3. So here what it's going to be is like, now it's going to be like a Rubik's cube. So it's 3 3s are 9, 9 3s are, it's going to be 27 values. Now please note, when you are assigning values, that is when you are initializing an array with a value, you have to give curly braces. And when you are accessing a particular value in an array, that is you are giving, I need the value at the 0th row first column of the first layer. If you're giving something like this, you should be accessing it using square brackets. Whereas when you're accessing when you're initializing the values of an array, then, or multi-dimensional array or any array, you'll have to use curly braces. So I'll be okay, let me initialize 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 6 7 8 9. Okay, so this is the array initialization. Now how it goes is like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So for the 0th, see here there are 3 means maximum it will be 2, 0 1 2. So here also again the same, these 9 values have been assigned to the first layer. Now from next 1 to 9 in the next layer, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So 2 has been finished, 0 has been finished, first has been finished, now the second one, that is from this 1 to this 9, 1 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now if you have to access this one, what you have to give is, if you have to access this particular value, now this is how much layer? This is the 0th layer, first layer, second layer. So it is going to be A2. Now this is the second column, and second column in the sense, okay, first column row is 0th row, first row. So this is how you access that particular number. Otherwise, if you have to, if you're accepting, consider that is for two-dimensional arrays, mostly you will be using only two loops, whereas for three-dimensional arrays it will be three loops. Okay, then there's going to be, just for your understanding I'm saying, if you want it you can just note it down. Here there's going to be a closing bracket, here also there's going to be a closing bracket. Now let us see a simple program to accept 3 marks, marks of 2 students scored in 3 different subjects. So first let us create an array, integer type A, 2 students, 3 marks. Now to I, J, and to print the total of each student. Okay, so again, for I equal to 0, I less than 2, I plus plus, okay, now let's accept the marks of each student. Scanf modulo D, comma, unlistened A of I, J. Okay, now what you have to do is, you have to print the total marks scored by the student, and you should print the total marks scored by the first student is this much, total marks scored by the second student is this much. For that, let's take another for loop. For I equal to 0, I less than 2, I plus plus, so here I'm just giving total equal to 0. Okay, both plus equal to A of I, J. So the reason why I'm giving total equal to 0 is, like when you add the value of the first student in tot, and after you print it, the next time you keep on adding the marks scored by the second student to the variable tot. So already in tot, the mark of the first student will be stored. To eliminate that problem, I'm giving, that is, when you're taking the marks of each student, tot will get initialized to 0. So here, after finding the marks of the student, you have to print. So this one comes printf the total marks scored by the modulo D student is modulo D. Now you give the value, that is I plus 1. First student means by student student 1 is, okay, I plus 1 comma tot, this will 2. Now after printing this, you will go to the next line, slash n. So now let's see what will be the output. I'm giving 1, 2, 3, 4 is fine. Run. Here, okay, there is an error somewhere. Here I have not given semicolon. Now let's try and see the output. So here the total marks scored by the student 1 is 3. 1 plus 2, 3. The total marks scored by the student 2 is 7. So how are you getting 1 and 2? I'm giving I plus 1. I plus 1. In the first place, I value is 0. 0 plus 1 will become 1. The second type, the I value is 1. 1 plus 1 will become 2. So 3 plus 4, 7. You're getting the output. Now how would you do the same if you're having, I've given 3 here, so change it. So here you've understood something, that is, even if you you can give numbers which is less than the given, like if it can store 10 numbers, then it's not necessary that you have to given 10 numbers. You can even give less than 10 numbers to store in the array. So this should do. Now let us see what will be the output. Run. I'll have to give more values, 5, 6. See, there's getting garbage value because the input was taken as 1, 2, 3, 4. Here the array, that is because you're going and accessing all the values. So if you don't fill the particular values in an array with particular number, then it will store garbage values. So now let us now let us give input as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let us see what will the output will be. It should be 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 6. It should be like first student score 6 marks and the second student score 15 marks. See, 1 plus 2 plus 3 will give you 6, 4 plus 5 plus 6 will give you 15. So you got the correct answer. The total marks scored by the student 1 is 16. The total marks scored by the student 2 is 15. So for this, you got the right output. Now let's see a different program that accepts the grade scored by the student in 3 different subjects, and the number of students is 3. So the int A, there are 3 students and the number of subject is also 3. Since you are going to accept the grade of the students, you have to give char. Okay. Now char ij, and yeah. So here for I equal to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus. This loop is for accepting the grades of 3 students. Now you have to, for each student you have to accept 3 grades. For that we are using the next loop. J equal to 0, j less than 3, j plus plus. Scanf modulo C. Modulo, we are using modulo C because we are going to accept characters as input. Ampersand A of I, j. Okay. Now for I equal to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus, the printf the grades scored by student modulo D. Instead of modulo D, we will give first student, second student, third student. So first time the value of I is going to be 0, 1, 2. We want it to be 1, 2, 3. So how do you do? What will you do? You give I plus 1. So here I am giving a slash n. Now after the statement, for this is to print the grades. J less than 3, j plus plus, printf modulo C space, comma, A of I, j. Okay. So here this is to accept the different grades scored by 3 different students, and this is to print the grades scored by 3 different students. Now let's see the output. You have to give, okay, it is going to be A, B, C, A, B, C. Now let's see the output. See, the grade scored by student 1, AB. Okay, there's a small problem here, that is it's 3 cross 3. So 3 cross 3 means each student should have 3 grades. Since there are 3 grades for 3 students, the total number of grades will be 9, but I have given only 6 here. So let's give another ABC and try again. So ABC, ABC. So here the problem is, I guess, I've given spaces also. Let's try without spaces. See, for this I've got the correct output. Now the grade scored by student 1 ABC. After this, again in the same line we are printing this. So what we should do after ABC, again we should give a slash n. So after printing ABC, printf slash n. Run. See here, now the grade scored by student 1 ABC, grade scored by student 2 ABC, grade scored by student 3 ABC. Now let us see what will happen if we give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So instead of characters, that is instead of giving alphabets, we are giving them numbers. So you can see this is also accepted and can be stored in the character variable. It is printed as it is. Now let us try giving the same for int. Int okay, I'm setting everything as int. Now let's try 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Run. Okay, now this is for numbers. Now let us try giving characters instead. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Run. Let's see what happens. You're getting garbage values here. So just try giving spaces and trying it. Getting garbage value, that is, it is not accepted. So that is in character variable you can store an integer variable, but whereas in integer variable we cannot store a character variable. So this is another simple program to print the grade scored by different students in a particular program, particular class or subject. So by this we have come to the end of the session. Today we saw multi-dimensional arrays. We just saw the basic concepts and basic programs of multi-dimensional arrays. You can work on more problems. You can work on more problems regarding multi-dimensional arrays, functions, or any concept that you like. This is just the beginning. Try your best to learn more of these concepts. It will only benefit because C is a programming language that is still being widely used, even though there are a lot of other programming languages also. Now please make sure to attend the test if you haven't. The attend closes by 10 p.m. tonight, and also if you haven't attended the test which was scheduled before, please make note that the tests are open. All the tests which was conducted before are open. You can still submit your responses if you haven't. So this is a golden opportunity to submit your responses if you haven't attended the previous test. Also, if you have any doubts, please make sure to mention in the comments. We'll get back to you and we'll clear your doubts for you. And in case if you have any suggestions or feedbacks, please let us know by going to the website and registering your feedbacks there. Thank you so much and keep learning.